my purpose is quite clear. This humanitarian assistance and reintegration of society as well as political reconciliation. Those are my three ultimate goals and purposes. I'm convinced that through my visit this time, I'll be able to get some assurances from Sri Lankan government and President Rajapaksa on those issues.
Now, the Secretary General should be arriving in Sri Lanka shortly on a visit aimed at seeking progress on three critical areas: immediate humanitarian relief, reintegration and reconstruction, and a sustainable and equitable political solution. Hours before his arrival, his Chief of Staff, Vijay Nambiar, told reporters in Colombo that we hope that the Secretary General's visit can help begin a process of national recovery, renewal, and reconciliation for all Sri Lankans. He said on the process for national reconciliation, we feel must be all-inclusive so that it can fully address the legitimate aspirations of Tamil as well as other minorities. It is important that victory becomes a It is important that victory becomes a victory for all Sri Lankans. Mr. Nambiar described his activities over the past week, which included a visit to the north, to IDP camps in Menak Farm, as well as a helicopter flight to the conflict area. He said he met with a range of interlocutors, including senior officials, humanitarian agencies, the diplomatic corps, plus senior political leaders, including Tamil parliamentarians, as well as the president and representatives of civil society. He said the Secretary General's program includes a visit to the IDP camps as well, and as weather permitting, a helicopter overflight to the former area of conflict.
Images of death and injury said to be inside Sri Lanka's no-fire zone. The photographs, apparently taken by medical staff, appear to show Tamil civilians caught in the island's bloody civil war between the Tamil Tigers and government forces, despite promises their safety was assured. Al Jazeera can't confirm the authenticity of these pictures, but they're similar to footage released by a pro-Tamil Tiger TV station showing injuries allegedly caused by government troops firing heavy rounds into the zone, killing more than 40 people. The UN's humanitarian chief, just back from Sri Lanka, condemned the Tigers for using civilians as human shields and the government for turning heavy weapons on them.
This is an absolutely awful situation where the fighting is continuing. The government wants to continue its offensive against the LTT to the end. The LTT shows no willingness to surrender, and the civilian population is caught in the middle of that. The LTT are clearly still holding on to that population against their will, using them as human shields.
Harsh words from the humanitarian chief, but comments like that can't stop the fighting. The UN's best chance of doing that would be here at the Security Council, but the Council hasn't even met in formal session over Sri Lanka, nor has the issue appeared on their agenda. So far, all ambassadors have done is hear informal briefings on the issue. The Sri Lankan government strongly denies shelling into the no-fire zone.
We totally and categorically deny this. Kind of total fabricated, a blatant lie.
Recent United Nations figures claim that nearly 6,500 civilians have been killed in 3 months this year since the government crackdown on the Tigers began. The Tamil Tigers have been fighting for an independent Tamil state in the north of Sri Lanka for almost 30 years. The government's latest push was aimed at crushing them once and for all. Information from the region is impossible to verify as the war zone is sealed from the outside world and those inside can't be considered to be fully independent. But what is clear is that thousands of civilians are caught between the two sides with little chance of escape. John Terrett, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations in New York.
I expect that I'll be able to visit the conflict zone, which the Sri Lankan government officials told me that they had been liberated. I'd like to have my first-hand, on-the-spot assessment of the situation myself.
Nice to have you back in Geneva, and it's much appreciated.
wherever serious and credible allegations are made of grave and persistent violations of international humanitarian laws, these should be properly investigated. As you may know, the High Commissioner for Human Rights has already called for that investigation. I hope these allegations are handled through appropriate procedures.
To the very comfortable tent next door to WHO headquarters.
Progress must come in three critical areas. First, immediate humanitarian relief. Second, reintegration and reconstruction. Third, a sustainable and equitable political solution. Progress on all three of these fronts must move forward in parallel, and it must begin now.